Hello, I am Patricia Muir, your host. Women have been breaking the barriers in the tech industry for the last few decades, and many are ready to nurture the development of the generations who are following them. I am pleased to introduce Sairan, who brings valuable insights and practical advice that will resonate with women and inspire them to take actionable steps towards their goals of blending their technical expertise and leadership to remaster their life and work. Sairan is passionate about leadership development. Her proven track record of empowering individuals and teams through training and mentorship is fostering the next generation of leaders in the tech industry. If you're watching YouTube today, let us know in the comments what insights resonate with you. Let us know how you are integrating your special skills and leadership in transitioning in your next phase of work and life. Both Sairan and I will respond to your comment to add value to your experience wherever you are in the transition. Hello, Sairan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Patricia. Thank you so much for having me in your platform.
It's my pleasure to be talking with someone who's been working in in technology for as long as you have, and now you're starting to transition and you're bridging tech and leadership. So when you and I first spoke, we talked about that, about bridging tech and leadership, and how technical expertise and strong leadership together can work together to drive innovation and business growth. Now that's in businesses, but how can women in our audience blend their expertise and leadership experience to drive their vision and goals for transitioning in and beyond their careers?
Yes, Patricia, thank you for the question. I do get this question more often, and they're asking me, okay, are you asking your client or your audience to quit their job? And that's absolutely not what I'm asking here. When you come as a professional working 9 to 5 job and you're making good money, my goals to you is always start the new chapter from experience. You can say, oh, I worked 30 years in IT, and after 30 years in IT, I find out that IT is not my thing. Oh, I think I wasted 30 years. You have not wasted anything. Those 30 years prior on your IT career build you in a way and form you in a way that make you capable to do the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, for all the women out there who want to thrive and excel beyond their career, if they want to pivot or if they want to change their day job, all they need to do is to look inside what they have exactly about their strength and weakness. And when you have that clarity, Patricia, it's such a freedom, it's such a place that we all aim, that when we are clear what we are heading, you can have a client that they are all over the place. As a coach, they come to you, they said, I need this, I need that. Okay, what is the priority? Are you clear where you want to go? Well, yes, but I need to be in 5 position by next year. Okay, what is those 5 position? Which one should come front? So clarity between you and your client is very important. And to encourage those women to go beyond what their career is, again, go back to be clear about what they want to head. Do they want to leave their tech job? Okay. Do you want to find a side business beside your 9 to 5 job? Okay, what is your hidden skills? What is your hidden gem? Are you able to find a small business in a side and thrive through that? Or basically just pivot totally. I have a lot of clients, they left tech totally and they went into writing and speaking. So you can always go back and merge and marry those, the IQ and the EQ. You bring your IQ and you do the arranged marriage with the emotional intelligence and see how much you can marry both of them in order to get your best version.
Mm-hmm. Those clients, I'm interested, those clients who do leave, say, tech altogether, uh, when they go to something like writing, now I know there's skills in tech that require writing, but is that what you're talking about, hidden gems that they may have a hidden gem that they've put on the back burner for so many years, and now there's the opportunity for them to bring it forward, but use their
Yes.
tech experience and their leadership development experience to sort of bring those together?
Yes. So basically, as we all know, before COVID, everybody was working back and forth so hard, long hours, driving, stress, paying the bills. When COVID hit, the whole world sit down, and they said the surveys 40% above, I think more than 40% of people during COVID they changed their career. And the reason why, we had a long time and a space because we stuck home to really reflect about our previous life and think about, is this the career we really need to do until the rest of our life? And a lot of people find out they do have buried desire. They have buried skills. They had it when they were teenage or in their
Mhm.
20s, and they never got to that hidden gem because they chose to be in tech, they chose to be an engineer, and they did it for 30 years. And now COVID hit, and they find themselves stuck at home and writing blogs or just getting more into the health style or like nutrition. Actually, I know engineer, they made it very high up in their post. They quit their engineering job and they become a health coach, which
Mhm.
is totally away from technology, right? But they find out that the tech job pay them well. They raise kids, they bought a house, they are in the position now they can do whatever they want. And they tell me always that was something they wanted to do many years ago. So I believe your hidden gem or your hidden talent and skills you have, you always have it, Patricia. It's never die. It's never go away. It doesn't vanish. It's always there inside you. It's just you sit down and digging deep and asking yourself a lot of deep questions to know what is exactly that hidden gem and just bring it to the surface to serve you and share it with the universe.
I sometimes ask people to think back to when they were about 8 or 9 years old, when they were in school. What did they really love doing? Um,
Yes.
Many of them talk about art, but many of them talk about sports. And so then we start the
Yes.
conversation about how can you bring some of those things back off the back
Mhm.
burner,
Mhm.
so that you get fulfillment out of them at some point in your life, other than when you were little, right?
Yeah.
So, and you and I also talked about empowering future leaders. This is so important, especially for women in tech. I think when I see younger women in tech now, they really do look up to women like you. The importance of mentorship and leadership development in shaping that next generation of, because they will become industry leaders.
True.
So,
True.
as I mentioned in the introduction, women in your generation have been breaking barriers in the tech industry. How can women in tech and STEM professions now nurture and develop that next generation of women?
Yeah, a very good question. So I coach younger tech women at George Washington University. They have a program called Women in Engineering. And us being in the midlife, age and having 30 years of skills, we can't just judge them because the generation is different. We tease them being on the phone all the time and always, look for a shortcut in AI and shortcut to answering message or using calculator in their task. Back in my days, we were not even allowed to use a calculator during the test. And when I was in engineering school, if they found a calculator in your hand, you'll be dismissed and have a zero in your test. Now, everything I ask my kids, they kind of make sure that the phone telling them the same answer, they check the calculator and they answer you through AI and artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, which is nothing wrong with that because being going back to your question, being in a place to mentorship this new generation because they are the generation who's going to build the future, which we all hope to be a brighter future. I feel like we should not judge them about their interest. And the same way they tease us saying, like, I have kids in college, my daughter's 20 and my son is 22. Sometimes when I give them a statement, I said, this is how I done it. They said, Mom, this is very old fashioned. Like we don't want to follow that. And I realized that being a good mom is the same thing being a good leader because you cannot be a good parent or you cannot be a good leader if you are not competent yourself. What I mean by this, I cannot preach my kids or preach my younger engineer in STEM or the mentorship program if I am missing those skills. I will not be a good mentor unless I am competent myself, unless I am mastering my skills. How can I teach a younger generation or a young girl who just graduate from engineering to be a team player and I'm not a team player myself? Because it's not about what I preach her and teach her, it's about what she see in me.
Mhm.
Same thing on the leadership skills. You go to the room, and I ask them always, please sit down on the table, please have a voice, please act like you are willing to grow and improve by reading the manual, by reading the facts. Don't come to any meeting not ready. Have your bullets ready, have your facts ready. We are engineer. You have to be precise and concise in your statement. If I tell them this and I come to the meeting goofing and not knowing what I'm saying, they will not learn anything. That's not a right mentorship. Right mentorship is you be a role model. Because if you are not a role model, how you can teach others to follow your steps?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I tell my kids. When
Yeah.
I tell them something, and they were harder when they were teenage because they are 18 months apart, but when they hit their 20, they are wonderful kids now. They are in college and they are doing very well in the school and sport. I always tell them, okay, you hear me now, right? Don't believe me nor disbelieve me. Just go to your room and just think about what I just said. And you mentioned something very profound, Patricia, when you said coaching happened between the real coaching happened between the session. And that's the same thing when you parent. You don't want them to react right away. You just tell them, I said what I said, go and think about it. Same thing when you coach and you do mentorship. You tell the client, you give them the homework, and you're saying, this is what I feel I can guide you towards your goal. And when they leave the session and you meet them in 2 weeks, the magic, like you said before the recording, the magic will happen between those two sessions. So
Yes.
nothing happened overnight. There is no magician here. There is no magic. I'm not expecting you to be your best version in 48 hours. It
Mm-hmm.
takes time and it takes process to reach that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your analogy to being a parent, I wish we all knew that when we were younger parents, that, it's not fixing the problem at the moment, but just give them
Yes,
something to think about in a good way, not put
yes,
them in the corner
yes,
somewhere, but in a good way,
yes,
something for them to think about, but
yes,
also you being leading by example, right? If you are telling your
yes,
children or your students or any young professional regarding professional behavior, if your professional behavior is not aligned with that, then we've more or less given them a bad example of how leadership can the dark side of leadership, like telling people
yes.
rather than helping them to find out for themselves. So
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
could
It's
be a
the space and the boundary. You always giving them space and boundaries. Same thing with your the engineer or the tech or your client. You give them the space and the boundary. You give them that freedom to think about it. Because again, we are coaches and mentor. We are not enforcing or we are not putting a pressure on the client. We are asking the client to think about the options. You have the freedom about the option. You have good option and you have bad options.
yeah,
You hire me and you give me the money. Do you want to go from A to B, or do you want to be stagnant and place in your place? I don't think anyone want to stay in the same place. Everyone want to go to different level and progress and get to the best version of yourself. Yes.
yeah. I'm glad you talked about the best version of yourself because you and I also talked about strategies for breaking down communication barriers to foster collaboration and achieve success in an organization. So let's take a look at that. How has the development of effective communication helped you to forge ahead towards what you're doing today, other than being an engineer, so that you have fulfillment in your executive encore?
Oh, communication. That's one of the most important word I been discovered the last 10 years. You can be the best engineer, you can be the best writer, you can be the best doctor, you can be the best artist. Without effective communication, there is no impact. And people mistake about communication that it's the ability to speak very well. Oh, he's a good communicator. He know how to speak. I feel good communicator. It's a good listener. And by you listening, you will be a great communicator because you listen to all aspect, all the component of what people saying, and also you read and listen between the lines. And I see that in my team. Sometimes they are upset about an incident or if they are not willing to do a certain task. And if I don't have a positive and effective communication with them, I will never know what they are really upset about. So it's not about just telling them what to do. The communication is come between having an open dialogue between both of us. And sometimes I might just judge you or label you in a certain way because I didn't listen well. So I was missing the communication skills. And this apply not only to tech women and leadership, it apply to any profession, like I said. If you don't have a good communication skills, you can go anywhere. I think Warren Buffett talked about it. He said that's one of the skills that he wish if he, I think I don't want to quote him wrong, like this one of the things that he really urged the new generation to master. It's a good communication skills. Without me having a good communicator with you, I'm gonna lose you. You're gonna lose me. There is no alignment. We can collaborate. We can be in the same page. So communication, it's very vital, and it's very people just ignore it because they think that because they master something else, they can leave the communication aside. You can leave it aside. It should be blended in every act and action you do. So it's very important.
Yeah. That's a good segue into introducing a part of the Executive Encore segment that's called Every Moment Matters. So, thinking
Yes.
back on our conversation and thinking back on your career and where you are today, um, could you please share a pivotal moment when you realized it was time for you to recalibrate, as engineers know how to do, and redefine your life and work? Tell us a little bit about when you discovered what you truly wanted to do to ensure that every moment counted from here on in, and then how you would use the skills that you have built over the years in your career to find fulfillment in this next part of your life. So I know that was a long question, but
So basically, what is the pivot? What was the
what was
pivot?
the pivot?
What
Yeah.
was the pivot?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's happened when I finished my master degree in engineering. And the mistake I did, I was all pumped and, have all that motivation. Yes, I'm inspired. Let's do it. I can do that. It's just like a football player. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to do the doctoral degree. So when I graduated 2017, I applied for the doctoral degree in engineering management right away. And while I was preparing for my first semester, I think this is something like, life puts something in front of you, like a lessons or a message that you need to listen. At the school, they asked me to speak with a group of a younger engineer undergrad about what to do after finishing school, what they should expect in the workforce as a young engineer, or what to do for the master degree if they are willing to continue their education. So when I spoke to that group of ladies, I got a call from the head of the department telling me that everybody thought that I'm a coach if I happen to be a coach. And I was like, what's she mean about that, coach? I said, yeah, I used to be a swimming coach in my 20s. She said, no, no, not a sport coach. We are talking about different kind of coach. We're talking about like a life and business coach. I said, well, I don't know what is that. Because being an engineer for 30 years, I thought I'm doing a great job just being good in math and solving equation and making a good money. And the pivot happened when I realized, nope, I don't think that's the only thing I am capable to do. I feel like I have a lot other skills I need to share and leave an impact and leave a footprint here. So when they ask me, just check it out, that the girls love the way how I talk and giving examples and life story about myself when I came to United States, how I hit the reality and I put jokes over there. So just check it, just check ICF. So I check ICF, I fell in love with it. I put my doctoral aside. I never looked back and I started a business after. So the pivot happened when you really sit down with yourself and ask A deep question. As a coach, you know, Patricia, what I mean, like peeling the onions and going deep down, what really matter to your life. And I realized, yes, nothing wrong with me being an engineer for 30 years, but that's all what I can do. That's it?
That's so
Is that
profound.
all? Is that it? No, let me see. I ask myself question, and also in COVID, like we mentioned before, it was a time for me even go deep down and saying what else I can add to the society. How can I add more positive impact? And again, going back to your the second part of your question, saying how my previous life helped me with my new chapter. It did. Because at the beginning, you get mad and you said, oh, I did tech for a long time. What that's to do with my coaching and mentoring, there is no correlation. There is no relation between those two. It does. The IQ and EQ, they always hug each other's in a certain places. So by you leveraging what you learned before and bring it to the service and take those strengths towards your next chapter is always help. So the pivot happened to me. I never looked back. I never thought anything I did before it was waste. That's what I tell my client. Do not say nothing wasted as a skills. I'm not talking about time waste. We waste time sometimes doing nonsense stuff, but none skills you done. There is no skills wasted. So you can leverage those skills in your new chapters. And also, I feel when I pivot, I gain even more clarity what really I want to do the rest of my life.
Mhm.
I want that impact. I want to thrive. I want other people to thrive. And it's not like I want to change 50 people at once. You as a coach, Patricia, know that, and I'm sure you're doing in your practice. When you coach and the outcome is very good and you get that testimonial, that's a one client. But that one client will utilize your skills and the lessons he learned from you or she learned from you and multiplied by other clients. So basically, you haven't changed one person's life, you have changed
Yeah.
many lives after because they took your guidance, they took your coaching principle, and they apply it to others. So if you are able to get one client goals met, and that's mean that you change you change a lot after that.
Mhm. So, for those of you who are watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, there's the experience of coaching. Okay. So, I'd like to ask Sairan, how can our audience connect with you so that they can get more of that? And what specific action would you like them to take today?
I might say just three action they can do today by gaining clarity about what they really want to do, knowing themselves very well. Adapt adapt is very important. You have to adapt the change happening around you. Don't be scared from AI and all the technology change. Adapt it, learn it. And the third thing is just not to give up. Keep grinding, never give up. And for your audience, if they mention your podcast and your name, they will get 1 hour complimentary. Through my LinkedIn, they can reach out to the LinkedIn page, and I can give them advices and tips about how to grow their LinkedIn and how to expand as a leadership and
Okay.
executive leadership. And if they want also assistance or guidance how to start their small business, I separate my small business in Instagram. They can reach me at Sairan Aqrawi, mentioning your name and your podcast, and they will get also a 1 hour complimentary, which I normally charge, but because of I've been very grateful to be in your platform, they will get a 1 hour complimentary also in my podcast and in my platform in Instagram.
I think you've shown how effective coaching can be and just how important it is impact wise, like to be able to impact other people and therefore impact our communities and impact the world, which is what we really need. That's how valuable a good coach is right now, is to help people through those types of transitions so that they can have an impact on the world. So, is there anything else, Sairan, before I wrap up?
No, this was a pleasure experience and knowing you and even talking with you before the recording. And I'm very happy to be featured in your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you to my incredible audience and to Sairan and to Sairan's amazing followers. Remember, you have invested in your skills and leadership over the last several decades. That investment will provide a return in many ways as you transition into the new opportunities to remaster your life and work. This new phase will be powered by self-trust, resilience, and unshakable sense of self-empowerment. Along with attention to your self-care and well-being, you will be able to create the life that you've always dreamt of when you are in other phases of your life and career. Please subscribe to Executive Encore on YouTube, on Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform. Be inspired by my conversations with remarkable guests like Sairan and other thought leaders. No matter what your age, gender, or perspective on well-being and fulfillment, I invite you to be a guest on my show. Let's connect and inspire together. Visit my website at patriciamuir.com. I feature my guest insights because our ability to share and receive wisdom is critical to navigating the chaos of some of those unexpected detours and stabilizing our life to focus on fulfillment and self-actualization. Remember to subscribe, comment, and share. Your support is crucial to keeping this video podcast and my passion alive. And if you would like to be a guest on Executive Encore, please contact me at patriciamuir.com. Take care of yourself, do what's best for you, and don't jeopardize what you've built for yourself. Have a wonderful day.